Welcome to the second video on time and its units. Now, in our last video, we understood what time is and what are the different units of time. Now, there are many units of time, and we don't use all of those units. And let me tell you some name of those units which we commonly do not use. So we do not use deciseconds and centiseconds and hectoseconds, etc., etc. We don't use these units in our daily lives. But then there are these other units which we commonly use. For example, we use week, we use day, we use hour, we use a minute, we use a second, we use a millisecond. Yes, we use millisecond. But why do we need deciseconds and centiseconds? Because their use will make us our process of or our learning of converting units of time into from one to the other easy, right? So it becomes easier for us if we know the values of these units of time, which we don't use in our daily lives. Now, let us start with minutes and let us try to convert them to seconds. Now, this is very common. You people must have done this sometime in your life, and you might have studied about time in your classes, how to read a watch or a clock. Right, so let's start with this very basic one. In this video, again, we are going to convert a larger unit of time into a smaller unit of time. And let us say I've got 1 minute. Now, how many seconds are present in 1 minute? Well, as per your general knowledge, you probably know that like 60 seconds make up 1 minute. And why do you say 60 seconds? Because let us assume here in this clock that I have here, the graphic of the clock that I have here. If let's say this is the second hand, the purple one. Once the second hand clicks, second by second, it keeps moving, and once it completes a whole rotation and comes back to 12, it has basically taken 60 steps, and each step represents 1 second. So 60 seconds, or one complete rotation of the second hand on this clock, is read as 60 seconds or 1 minute. How many seconds? If 60 steps make up 1 minute, how many steps or how many seconds rather make up 2 minutes? So what you are going to do, you can add 60 plus 60, or a better way of doing it is 60 times 2. What about 3 minutes? How many seconds are present in 3 minutes? So you will look at like 3 rounds, second round, and then the third round on the clock of the second hand. So you can say 60 seconds plus 60 seconds plus 60 seconds. Rather than doing this, another mathematical operation is 60 times 3. Right, now what if I tell you, what if I ask from you, how many, let me add a couple of more pages to this. Let me add a few pages to this, and let's just bring this down. Let's add a few pages here. All right, let me add 2 or 3 more pages, and then we can continue. All right, so here we are. Now, what if I ask you how many, let us say, milliseconds are present? Let's say how many milliseconds are MSs milliseconds are found in, let's say, in 10 minutes. How many milliseconds are found in 10 minutes? Or even worse, what if I ask you how many seconds are found in 2.5 days? 2.5 days can also be written as 2.5 days. How many seconds are found in 2.5 days? Now, a larger unit has to be converted into a smaller unit. Now, remember, the process remains basically the same, the process of conversion. Well, if you need any graphic idea of how we convert a large into a smaller unit and how we've made a certain formula in the past, which is this is the formula, value of the larger unit times the conversion factor. If you want to know more about this formula, how we've made this, I'm sure you might have learned it by now, but if you still want to learn how we've come across this formula, I want you to go and watch the previous videos that we've done. But as for now, in order to convert any large unit into a small unit, we can use this formula, which is value of the larger unit times the conversion factor. So let us take a couple of problems for our own selves. Let us say I want to convert, let's say I want to convert 3 days to, let's say, hours. How many hours are 3 days? This is a simpler one, straightforward, single step calculation or a problem. But now let us say I would like to do another sum, which is 3 days is how many minutes? How many minutes, right? Is how many minutes. So in order to do these two problems, what information do I need? I need this particular flow chart, right? I need this particular illustration. And this is the illustration which tells me about the conversion factor, right? So let us look at the first problem. 3 days is how many hours? So according to the formula, what is the value of the larger unit here? It's 3. The larger unit between the days and the hours, days is the larger unit and the value is 3. So I simply write 3 and I multiply it by the conversion factor. Now what is the conversion factor that I can use here? How many hours? See, conversion factor, I'm going to revise once again. I've been doing this over and over for the last 3 units. And in my coming videos, I'm not going to define conversion factor yet again. So for one last time, let us see what a conversion factor is. So conversion factor is the number of small units in one large unit given to us. So this is the large unit given to us, 3 days. And how many hours are there in one day in one large unit? And in one day, there are 24 hours. Let's look up here. So we are planning to convert days into hours, right? And what is the conversion factor? 24. So this is our conversion factor that we are going to use. And let's just simply write this down. 3 times, what is the conversion factor? Well, 24. And if you multiply this, we get 72 hours. So 3 days is equal to 72 hours. Let's simply write H for hours, right? Now H is the actual standard notation for hours. Now how many minutes are found in 3 days? If we have to do this, again, let's write the formula VL times CF, and the value of large unit here again is 3, so we write 3 here. And what is the conversion factor from days to minute? And let's go up and see what we have to do. So we have to go from days. Let me just rub and clean it just a teeny weeny bit. So this time we are supposed to convert days to minutes. So we have to convert days and we have to convert it into minutes, right? We have to go from here till here. And how many conversion factors do we have? So we've got 2 steps. First of all, we need to convert days into hours. So we've got the first conversion factor, which is 24. And the second conversion factor is when we've converted all of the days into hours, we have to convert those hours into minutes. So this is the second conversion factor, which is 60. So we have to do 24 times 60. And when we do 24 times 60, and let's write 24 times 60, and let's just do the math here, and 24 times 60, and we have got 24 and 12, and let's just do this, 0441. So this is what we get. So this is our conversion factor, 1440. I hope you know how we've calculated the conversion factor. So now if you multiply 3 times 1440, you will get a value 13, 1, 6 and 7, 3, 2, 0. And what is this? This is the number of minutes in 3 days. So in 3 days, we have 7,320 minutes. M-I-N. And no dots after that. Well, I hope at the end of this video, you probably have understood how to convert the larger units of time into the smaller units of time. The process is exactly the same as you've done in the last 2 units that you've learned. I will see you in the next video, where now we'll take up a different challenge, which is to convert a smaller unit into a larger unit. See you soon.